Hey, what's up? This is Kevin from Kevin's Barbecue Joints, and I'm excited to bring you my interview with Don and Theo Nguyen. I think most people pronounce it Nguyen when it's actually closer to what I said, from Khoi Barbecue, which is actually Khoi Barbecue. It's Khoi barbecue, Khoi meaning smoke in Vietnamese. Don was born in Vietnam. He moved over when he was 5, and Theo was born in the United States. But they're of Vietnamese heritage, and their barbecue is Central Texas style with an Asian flair, especially Vietnamese. But they also put Japanese and Korean into the mix. Their food looks outstanding, and it's spectacular too how they meld those flavors. And if you look at the intro of the YouTube, if you're just listening, go check out the YouTube side, because I'm putting a number of photos of their food, and it looks spectacular. I've only heard good things, great things from JC Reed at the Houston Chronicle about them, and they're definitely someone you want to try. So make sure you do follow them on Instagram. That's where you get all their information, and then you can pre-order for their pop-ups, as well as they do make enough for walk-ups. But this one is great because we talk a lot about their background and where they're coming to food-wise, and how Don and how they conceptualize putting their menu together. And we talk about like how geopolitics and politics transform food over the years. It gets kind of heady, but it's an interesting interview. And then I noticed after we had done the interview that we hadn't talked about the menu much. We talked about certain dishes, but we didn't talk about what you can get on a daily basis, as well as the specials and things. So I talked to Don again, and so that's this last part, about 8-9 minutes, is just the menu. So you'll notice that Theo is gone in that second part. But it's great. It's wonderful. I really know you'll enjoy it. And you get to see how brothers interact on a Zoom call talking about their restaurant. So I can't thank them enough for taking the time and for doing this. This has been a long time in the works, so I'm glad we got it this time. And also, if you're watching this prior to June 13th, 2021, they're going to be popping up doing a collab with Heritage Barbecue in San Juan Capistrano, as well as Convenience West. Mark from Convenience West is coming out. So they're doing a big collab. So that is really cool. So try to make sure that you do make that. I'll put information in the notes below. If it's after that, then you'll be able to try their food in Houston, Texas. And they also talk about a potential brick and mortar. Again, thank you, Theo and Don, for taking the time. Check out Khoi Barbecue. And the Kevin's Barbecue Joints YouTube show and podcast is brought to you by Flores Tortillas. You can check them out at florestortillas.com. Every Monday at 10 a.m. Texas time. They release dozens and dozens online to order. They sell out really quickly. Make sure you follow them on Instagram for when the actual drop is, if it changes. But it's generally on Mondays at 10 a.m. But make sure you do follow them. They do pop up in local locations to order tortillas, as well as there's a number of Texas barbecue joints that you could buy tortillas by the dozen or in tacos. Their tortillas are insane. They're made with smoked beef tallow. They're my favorite. I've ordered them for so many people and made, I believe, so many people happy. I can't be happier to have Flores Tortillas on board. Again, that's florestortillas.com. And I also have Centex Smokers out of Luling, Texas, as a partner of the show. Michael Johnson, he's making pits that are just gorgeous. Follow them at Centex_smokers. Check them out. See the pits that he's making. About a 12 to 14 month lead time. So if you want to order, give them a DM, get an order in. Again, that's Centex Smokers out of Luling, Texas. And I have a website at kevinsbbqjoints.com. And I just did a massive pit list of custom pit builders, about 52, 54, and I think I'm adding about 6 or 7 later on tonight. So it'll be over 60 custom pit builders. So if you're in the market for a pit, check that out at Kevin's BBQ Joints. That way you can peruse. I have photos as well as tons of description and links and ordering stuff. So that way it'll help you out if you're looking for a pit or if you want a window shop. But in the end, thanks for listening to these. I hope you guys have a good week. Enjoy this. Good afternoon, guys. How you doing? I guess it's almost good evening for you, right?
Yeah, it's like 6 o'clock our time.
How are you guys in general? How are you doing?
I'm good. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. We're vaccinated. Yeah,
That's a good thing.
Opening up again, and hopefully we see the light at the end of the tunnel to the return to normalcy.
Did you guys, when COVID hit or when the pandemic, when things were shutting down, did you guys shut down for a while?
We kind of laid low for a few months and kind of see how things shook out. 'Cause a lot of places were just closed, right? Like,
Yeah.
You usually pop up at breweries or coffee shops, and
All those places were closed.
Yeah, they were closed, so we were closed too. And then I think the first one we had was in like July or something. we're just testing the waters out, and it was a little nerve-wracking, but we made it work. So we only did it once a month or once every couple months in 2021. And then like during the fall, I think people got more comfortable, at least here in Texas. So
Yeah, it was different in Texas.
it never existed here in Texas.
yeah. It would be, yeah. The people were like, "Why are they popping up? It makes zero sense. They should have a brick and mortar by now." No, but it also it's a weird. It was a weird time, but I think you also had to get your feet on solid ground to figure out what's happening. And now that you guys are vaccinated, that has to feel good. And I'm vaccinated, so that's why we're doing this. We waited to do this so that we'd all be vaccinated. That was the whole point. We could be face to face without masks, and we could do this properly.
Vaccinated Zoom call.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It feels good. It feels great. It feels so weird, but it is also funny too, because did you Zoom at all before COVID? Oh, you did?
Yeah, I did. My day job, I work from home. I've worked from home for the last two and a half years. So
oh wow,
I was ahead of the curve, conference calls, blah, blah, blah.
So you're ready for that. You're ready for it.
No, I wasn't ready for it this much. So, but yeah.
I think people still are struggling with Zoom, which is bizarre.
I never did it on a personal level. It was more for work. And now it's like everything is Zoom, everything is Skype and FaceTime. So
yeah, it gets weird when like they start doing commercials that are spoofing people's Zoom calls. That's when like you're like, oh, it's way too much. It's ingrained in society. Well, so you guys grew up in Houston, or did you? Because I know you had family in Dripping Springs. I think I read, or do you still have family in?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you didn't grow up all the way in like I was born and raised in Houston.
Okay.
Yeah, I was born in Vietnam, and I
didn't know. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, that's cool.
I moved here to Houston with my mom. My dad was already here in 1991, so when I was 5.
Okay.
And then Theo was the first one in the family to be. Yeah, I guess he's first generation.
So then, are you guys then? Are you guys full brothered, or are you guys?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, so the family was still together because you said it kind of in a way that seemed like your parents were split, but they're together. But
they were split because of the whole political scene in Vietnam after the Vietnam War.
Okay.
So they got split up because both families. I mean, it's a long story, but my mom and dad side of the family fought on both sides of the war, and then my dad's side ended up in the U.S. first, and then my mom and I came later.
Wow. No, yeah, because I remember, like, I'm a kid from the 70s and 80s, and I remember there was a time when a lot of like at school there'd be a lot of Vietnamese kids. It would just seem like there was an influx at the time, and a lot of refugees, people were coming over to the United States, and so that must have been, what was that like coming here? Was that strange? How old are you?
I mean, I was 5, so I was 5 years old, so I do remember. I mean, I was in ESL, right, with a bunch of other Asian kids and Hispanic kids. So we grew up in A-Leaf. I grew up in A-Leaf, which is the same neighborhood that the Blood Brothers barbecue.
Oh, really?
So they've represented A-Leaf, and they still do a lot. But actually, I grew up in A-Leaf until 7th grade. But I don't claim A-Leaf as much as maybe I should. But so that was a really diverse neighborhood of Houston, Southwest Houston. That's where Chinatown is.
Okay, yeah, because I don't know Houston that well, so thank you for explaining. Yeah,
it's if you're in Houston, you say A-Leaf, and everybody knows. Okay, it's a well-known sort of part of town.
But is it a mix of all different?
Everybody, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of Hispanic people, a lot of Asians, Indian people as well. It's a diverse part of town for sure.
So that made sense too. I wonder why did they decide to go straight to Houston? Was Houston?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how that.
For the barbecue. No.
Yeah, they knew.
Yeah, because it was in 75, like you experienced, like you touched on earlier, a lot of Vietnamese refugees, came out for the war, and they got there's Vietnamese communities from that diaspora in New Orleans and Virginia and SoCal and, in County and Houston. It all started from like, Methodist families, Lutheran families, like these Protestant families that worked with the refugee committee that, took people in. And a lot of them ended up in places where the climate was the same or similar to Vietnam, right?
That makes sense too.
New Orleans, 99% of the shrimp and fish meat. New Orleans are from Vietnamese shrimpers, right? And
That's
fish.
true.
So that's how we ended up here. It was just because my grandfather ended up in Austin, and he was an engineer, went to UT, and then ended up in Houston for work. So that's how we ended up in Texas. Yeah.
This is so totally off topic. Have either of you guys gone back to Vietnam?
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot. We try to go like every like what 4 years, right?
That's cool.
I try to go every other year. Yeah.
Yeah, my friend visited semi recently, and he sat at like a coffee shop, and he had his phone just showing the traffic, like it was like an intersection, and it was the biggest bunch of mayhem I've ever like controlled mayhem that you'd ever see ever.
Yeah. You just got to close your eyes and walk across the street.
It's all faith, right? It's all faith based. Like it doesn't work.
If you're riding on the scooter or if you're walking and you try to dodge, you'll get hit, right? So it's counterintuitive, but
no, it makes sense.
Here's a pro tip: just walk and close your eyes and walk.
Would you recommend visiting Vietnam? I've heard it's beautiful and great food, and I've heard great things.
Yeah, it's amazing. We have a lot of family there, and it's just great to go as a tourist and as a visitor. Food is amazing. The dollar goes
really
a long
far.
way, and and we love the food. We love the history. Just to know more about the history of our country. But the food is amazing, right? So yeah. Then the beaches are great. If you like beach vacations.
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, and there's
if you're into gorgeous stuff, like there's like the world's biggest cave that just got discovered is there.
Some of the rock formations are Avatar, like Avatar or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Something crazy.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, hopefully things like I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know how things are with the pandemic, like how things, because there's so many countries that are different than us, like behind the curve or way ahead or smarter than us. So then how did you guys? I sort of read how you got into barbecue, and so then the age difference. What is the age difference year wise?
9 years. 9 years.
Maturity level, it's like 20 years, I think.
Yeah, is that what it is? So he's more mature. Who's more mature? Which one is more mature?
Right.
Yeah, we're 9 years apart.
So how was like growing up then, that 9 years difference? Because I'm 3 years with my brother, and we were pretty close. Were you guys close together, or was there a certain point where you were too old and you were too young, and then now you guys are working together, and that's really cool. There's not a lot of brothers that are working together.
I don't know. What's your take on this, yo? I've never heard your perspective.
Yeah, I'm sorry to put you guys on the spot.
Yeah, no, I think it's similar to a lot of people that are similar to us. I mean, I think as you get older, the gap gets smaller, right? Yeah. I mean, I think when I was growing up, Theo was born when I was, 9 years old? So you're in like 5th grade or something. Yeah.
So you were in 9th grade. When he was 4 or 5, you were in 9th, 10th grade.
10th grade. Yeah. So it was. We didn't have a lot of common. We couldn't do a lot together. Yeah. I think now it's a lot better. We can do stuff together. We can travel together. We can go drinking together. Yeah.
That makes it a lot.
You relate more, right? Because I think you share more life experiences. So.
Mm-hmm.
We always joke. I was like, "You're the accident," and then it's like, "No, you're the accident." And we're like, "I think we're both accidents."
I think it's better if you're both accidents. I think like there's not a whole lot of on purpose kids. I think there's certain ones, but there are people that like I want to have a kid as soon as I get married. You're like, really? That's wow.
Thanks, Theo.
Is Don used to kick me out of his room when he was playing games. Growing up.
Video games?
I was like video games. Yeah. I would just be watching, like asking too many questions, and then it's like, yo, I gotta focus. Like, but I mean, like you said, like he's shown me a lot, man. Like high school, he took me to my first concerts. Like took me to Radiohead and Tame Impala. Like
really, that's a solid choice.
Yeah, right. Like, dude, like yeah. So it's been super cool.
And Radiohead, when you see Radiohead, I'm trying to think. I think I saw them once. And they go off onto like tangents, like these long, wild. Yeah, it's an experience. It's not like even listening to their albums.
It's just it's beautiful. But man, it's like now we work together, so something worked.
How does that happen? Like, who got into cooking barbecue first?
Don, Don just kind of started and like asked me to pop out and help them out. Long story short, I've been here since. Like, yeah.
But Don, were you, because your day job is not, both you guys is your day job barbecue? You guys,
No.
you don't work at other spots or do anything else, right?
I mean, our day jobs isn't barbecue yet. But yeah, I'm in the energy business, so I've been trading energy for the last 10, 11 years.
Trading energy.
Yeah, so I'm more like a sit in front of a computer, stare at numbers and statistics sort of stuff. And I think barbecue for me was, I grew up with it, growing up in Texas, and it's such a awesome, it's almost religious experience for me, because it's like it's a total opposite, right? You're doing stuff with your hands, but it's also really similar, right? Because it's very analytical.
Mm-hmm. You have to think like
it's science, right?
Many steps ahead. Yeah, science. Yeah.
It's problem solving on the fly, except now you get to share it with people, and it's tangible, which is so different than what I do.
Seeing it,
shuffling numbers around. Yeah, exactly.
From what I read, I think when I read something from that Daniel Vaughn wrote, and I always say Daniel, like everyone knows. There's people probably don't. Daniel Vaughn, Texas Monthly. He said that you guys, because you used to go to like a buffet, a place that was more of a buffet.
Yeah, Luther. So I don't know if Theo remembers this, but it was just like probably when he was still a kid, small kid. But in the 90s, my dad used to take us to this place called Luther's. It was a big chain.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it was outside of Texas, but it was like all you can eat baby back ribs, and that was like a special event for somebody's birthday. We would go to Luther's a lot, and it was in Houston. It used to be right next to Yao Ming's restaurant, which is still open, but Luther's isn't around anymore. But
Yao Ming still has a restaurant?
He has a restaurant. Yeah, I think it's just his name. I've never been there actually. It's been there for like 20 years.
I think he doesn't live in the United States anymore, does he?
No, he's back in China. Yeah.
Wow. What an interesting slice of NBA history too, like Yao Ming's whole his adventure. He had foot. Did he have to retire because of a foot problem? I think he broke his foot too much or something. It's a lot of pressure on
foot, knees. He's a giant, right? Yeah, they have like this one dim sum place we go to, Kim Sun. They have like a cutout of him, like life size, and yeah, it's pretty gargantuan. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I guess too, like it's that amount of gravity on you or something, that because they've talked about, I'm trying to think of, they were talking about I think kaiju, or they're talking about something, they're saying that there's no way that they're physically there, but they couldn't in our atmosphere even move around because gravity would be, it's totally about barbecue. but I still think that, but yeah, that's interesting that it's next to Yao Ming's. I need to stop. When I do visit Houston this summer, I will have to go to Yao Ming's restaurant, even if he has no connection at all. And I'll text you guys a photo.
We'll meet you there. Yeah, we'll meet.
Actually, we should.
We'll both go for the first time.
Yes, we have to. Yes, but then also too, isn't Salt Lake has like an all-you-can-eat component, don't they?
Yeah, Salt Lake, the other place that we used to go to growing up. I mean, we had family in Dripping Springs. They moved there, I mean, in like the mid 90s, and my cousin worked at Salt Lake.
Oh, really?
Home pickles and stuff. So, I mean, we have a crazy like history with Salt Lake, because that was like hill country. I mean, now it's all developed and there's like a bunch of strip malls and stuff out.
That's so sad.
It used to be like nothing there, right?
Yeah.
And it was like really going out to the country, the hill country. And so yeah, we love Salt Lake. The pickles are amazing, the onions, the sauce. They had the family style. It was like $12, all you can eat.
Yeah, that was just wild. But I don't think everyone knows that, which is
and it's such a cool. I mean, it's still the same.
The environment's awesome. Yeah,
it's just the ambiance. They have like music, and there's that big open pit. Like
that pit's like iconic no matter what. Even if people like argue that it's not. Yeah, like it's still. If you take a
do hot and fast open pit, it's not the brisket. But the experience, the sausages are amazing. Like hands down, you got to go if you're from out of town.
Yeah. But it's like funny, like it's probably not the highest on people's list. It's on certain people, but it should be. It's just. So what was the impetus? Did you end up getting a pit? Is that what started it?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was from.
I'm trying to think of when I paid it, when I started to notice you.
It was like 2017 April. I'd gone to Costco to buy rotisserie chicken or something, and like we love Costco. Right? My family like loves Costco.
A lot of people, a lot of families
Any
have
reason
a
to go
great
to
relationship.
Costco, yeah, the chicken bake or something, we'll go to Costco. So I think I was in Costco randomly, and to buy some rotisserie chicken, and some guy,
600 ribeyes.
yeah, exactly, like I was buying 20 chickens, right, rotisserie chickens for the week. But there was a Kamado Joe sales guy there, right? And I was like, oh, this is cool. I just got sold on this. Like I went in for the chicken and I left with an egg.
That's funny.
And so I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like I can grill more, and I live in a townhouse, so this is like perfect. I can smoke. And so I just went off the deep end on like how to use this egg. You can make pizza. I was on like a pizza thing for a while.
Are those kind of like, I've never used one before, but I've used a
Yeah.
big green egg. Is it like a big green egg?
It's exact same thing, except bread, right? And
Yeah.
the cheaper accessories. Right. It became like my desert island sort of grill. You can do anything on it, right? Which is really cool.
It gets to a serious temperature too.
Yeah, you get really hot, and then it keeps things really
Maintains
heat really well. So, anyways, Hurricane Harvey happened in like I think August, September, 2017, and then all my friends were eating like frozen corn dogs for the week, and I had like a cooler full of brisket and ribs because I was like, if the power goes out or gas goes out, at least I'll have my
That's smart.
Joe, right? And so I end up having warm food. I was like, hey, 4 different friends groups. I invited them over, and we have like 30 people, which sounds weird now after COVID, but I had 30 people at my house, and like we all feasted, and everybody was so happy. And that's when I realized like the power of food, the power of barbecue to bring people together, right? And so our first pop-up was like a week after Harvey. We were like, hey, let's cook and raise money for charity.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's what we did. So we donated the proceeds to charity for Harvey.
And that's
were
you cooking like pork and some beef or what?
Yeah, we were doing pork shoulders, ribs, and like I think we could fit like 2 briskets on the egg, right? But it was one of those deals where like if you want to get good, you got to practice.
Yeah.
Our family got sick and tired of barbecue. Our friends got tired of it, so we're like, let's do a pop-up for charity, so we have an excuse to cook.
I think you have an intruder.
Yeah, there's a big nasty squirrel outside.
Yeah,
it's keeping us safe.
That's good. No, it's important. It's extremely important. But now, were you Blue Smoke then? Or
yeah,
were you,
that's right. We started an LLC called Blue Smoke Barbecue because I was like, oh, that the alliteration, it rolls off the tongue. That's the kind of smoke you want. And then like literally like a month after I started the LLC, we got a cease and desist. It was like a 30-page cease and desist from Shake Shack Corporation.
Yeah, well, they have plenty of money.
Yeah, the Blue Smoke in New York, and they were like, we're Oprah's favorite brisket and Martha Stewart's favorite rib. You guys are, which is understandable, but I was like, man, we're just like you brothers, just like we're idiots, right? But it was a cool lesson that we needed to. It was a blessing in disguise because we guys really sit down and come up with a unique name that really reflects us. And I think Khoi or Khoi in Vietnamese, it means smoke. It's more.
So it's not Khoi. It's Khoi. How can you pronounce it again?
Yeah, Khoi. It's like Khoi.
In the back of your throat, you're saying?
Yeah, like Khoi, like KH. There's a upper accent on the O and then I, so it's like Khoi.
Okay.
It means smoke in Vietnamese.
I mean, yeah, exactly. And that's
it's Khoi, but I mean, in English, a lot of people just say Khoi, which is fine too.
And they probably think it has something to do with koi fish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, everything. Yeah, and then and they probably think they think you're Japanese, and they're like, what is it going?
Yeah, they think we do Korean barbecue, so we get that a lot too.
But also too, like when I'm searching for barbecue, like so much Hawaiian and Korean barbecue come up. There's so much, like it doesn't always. It's not always just specific to barbecue. When you guys did that pop up? Were you planning on, okay, we're going to do more of these? Or was that just like, we'll do some charity stuff like every so often? Or was the response so killer that you decided to?
Yeah, I think we got a really good feedback. And a lot of it was friends and family, some new customers. And it was just, we've wanted any excuse to practice, right?
Yeah.
And that was the impetus for it. I reached out to my energy friends and like, do you need catering? Do you need party food? And blah, blah, blah. And we graduated from the egg by the time we had Harvey, I already had a little offset. It was like a 90-gallon offset
Yeah.
in the front. So like everything, we started from the egg, went to that one, then I bought a trailer, and now I have a Moberg, and like it went, yeah.
It becomes an obsession. Huh?
Slippery slope, right? And so I think the first puppet was really well, and then we reached out to many friends that needed catering gigs, and then we started. We had a big break actually. The first one of my good friends bought a house, and then she hired us to do catering for it. And there was a new brewery that opened a block away from her house, Bailison Brewery.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't actually. We reached out to them, and they were like, "Oh, are you guys a food truck?" Like, no, not really. Like, oh, we're not really interested. I was like, okay, cool. And so when Theo and I went to to cater my friend's party, it was like 10:30 p.m. and I knew they just closed. I was like, Theo, run this box over to them, and like I put our.
Oh, that's a smart idea.
I wrote down our name and the phone number on it, and then like the next day they were like, when can you guys come? Yeah, so.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So that's, and then because right now you're not popping up there, right?
Oh, we go there.
Okay, you still do.
Yeah, we still do, like probably once every couple months. Yeah. So
okay.
That was like our home base for a long time.
Yeah. It seemed like every time I'd see it, it was there. And then, but at that time when you catered that your friend's party, was there curry? Was there pho? Was there anything? Or was it all just kind of Central Texas style, or just? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we were just trying to work on the basics, like for me, it's like playing music, right? So I'm a pianist, and it's like playing classical piano, right? Like you learn music theory, the foundation. For us, I think the analogy for me is like, you learn the music theory of Central Texas barbecue, or just controlling the heat with smoke, and then once you learn that, you can start riffing. You can play jazz, play blues, play some.
That's a great analogy.
You can be Joe Satriani or whoever you want to be, and then like you can have your own style, but you have to have the foundation building block. Yeah. So we were still learning the craft back then. Yeah.
When do you think you came into your own?
I think when it was probably like a year in, and we were like, okay, finally we can get the brisket down, right, and we can get the beef rib down. So we like kind of got comfortable with it, and the product came out to be the way we wanted it, or we envisioned it to be. And then we were like, okay, let's do something new. It's like our minds, in my mind, it's always like, what can we do that's different, right? I don't want to be stuck in the status quo.
Yeah, and you get kind of stagnant too. Like,
what's interesting is exploring new things, right? And so that's what drove us. It's just like, hey, we got this down, or to a level that we're comfortable with. What can we do with it that's different, that's going to push the culture forward?
And what was the first thing that you guys did that was different? Was it the pho? Was that right?
No, I think we did what did we do first? Yeah, I think it was the sashimi, right? The nigiri.
The nigiri.
I never saw that. I don't know, or maybe I did. I don't remember.
That's the old school one.
Yeah, and then I think the pho was like the second thing. I had just gotten back from Japan. I was in Vietnam, then I went to Japan, and I got inspired. I was like, whoa, this beef rib thing, like, why don't we just, instead of like I had at Tsukiji Fish Market, like the fatty tuna, right? El Toro. I was like, that's really fatty. The sushi chef was explaining to me, he was saying, sushi in Japanese means vinegared rice. It's not about the fish, it's about the rice, right? And so we use fatty cuts because the rice is vinegar, it's sharp and acidic. It cuts through the fattiness, and it creates a good mouthfeel, a good taste, something tasty. And I was like, yeah, beef rib, super fatty. Why don't we put that on top of sushi rice, sumeshi? And so that's what we did, and it was a hit at our friend's party, and then we served it at the pop-up.
That's
awesome.
How
the things started spinning. Yeah.
Did you take time to learn how to make proper rice, or was that something that was already? Were you making any sushi at all on your own?
Yeah, so that was a deep dive. I actually was in Japan. I went to there's a whole section of Japan, like a neighborhood. I forgot what the name is.
Because I lived in Osaka for a year, but I didn't get to travel. I went to Nara. I didn't travel as much as I want. I was teaching English, so I didn't. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, but there's this whole, Osaka's a really cool city too. But I went to Nara, and Osaka with my dad when we were down south. But Tokyo has this whole neighborhood of it's just kitchenware stuff, right? It's
Oh, so
insane.
rad,
Like,
so rad.
everything, like it's a whole neighborhood. All they do is sell kitchenware.
Oh,
Like,
that's so
whatever you
cool.
want, like everything. So I literally was there for like 24 hours. I went there and like filled up my backpack with like a bunch of stuff. And so I got one of those bamboo rice things and all the stuff I got. I could have just bought it off of Amazon, but
No, but it's so special to get it.
yeah. And so
You're
I still
making
have,
like, yeah, you're making me really
yeah.
want, because I want to go back to Japan just to travel. I want to go from like the north Hokkaido all the way down to the south. Just there's so
Yeah.
much to see, but that would be really. I didn't realize it. I guess it makes sense that Japan would have that.
Yeah, they would, right? So whatever you're interested in, they have it like to the max.
Yeah, they have like a blue jeans street, like they have
exactly.
a denim street. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so that's how it all started.
Okay.
Traveling there, buying the materials, and going back and really learning how to make rice the right way on the stove and with the right vinegars and all that stuff. So
yeah, because I know there's like guys, and like there's even been like documentaries on like try to make rice like for 5 years. That's all you're doing.
But yeah, it's like some Jiro stuff, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or like the egg, yeah, like the egg is such a big deal. Like that's such an important thing. Like if you can't, have you heard that like if you go to a sushi restaurant and the tamago, if you get that, and if that's not good, you're supposed to leave, because if they can't do that well, then
everything else is probably
everything else is
hard.
Yeah.
But we love that. I mean, Theo and I went to Tokyo for a week, and I just love that. It's similar to barbecue, right? Like I look at its craftsmanship, right? Respecting the craft and like learning how the building blocks, the history behind barbecue, the history behind Texas barbecue, behind the Carolina barbecue, and then Vietnamese food, how to make Japanese food. It's been a cool journey. That's what keeps it interesting, is I think the craft.
Yeah. Have you had to do a lot of explaining to people about what you do, or is it something where people are, this day and age, people have eaten enough food to understand, or is it like is there a learning curve at all for people?
What do you think, Theo?
Yeah, Theo, what do you think?
For barbecue?
No, for your, just because you guys are off the beaten path. You're not just because you're using Vietnamese influence. Like, is that like, are people game to order something different, or do people try to stick? Because you guys serve by the pound too, right? So you can get just a traditional platter, right?
Right. You totally can. I think people are trying, like slowly opening their mind stuff to trying like new flavors and dishes. Like an example we had was like what we were serving like kimchi as like a side, and people at Bailey's would like, yo, like what's that? Like what's this really red? What's that red thing? And I'm like, oh,
it's kind of pickle.
Yeah, it's not pickles, right? It's fermented like cabbage and like
actually it is pickle.
Yeah, it's still pickled.
Sort of, yeah. I guess
but like it's just not a pickle.
They're relative.
It's not a dill pickle.
Yeah.
They
would try it, and then a couple minutes later, like come back like, yo, can we get some more? Like that was really good, So it's like, I think people are like opening their minds. I guess that's not like
And no, at least you're giving them the opportunity to try other things.
Right.
And if they don't like it, they don't like it. And just like anything else. Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think to go on that point too, I always remember that story that Theo just told, but also like, kimchi, I think every immigrant probably has some sort of similar story, right? Like for us, fish sauce is so prevalent in everything that we eat. Yeah. I used to be embarrassed when I had my non-Asian friends, because I was the only Asian kid in high school. It was all white kids, right?
Yeah.
And when they came over, my mom would be cooking, I'd be like embarrassed, like, oh man, like mom, like, come on, like, can't have this whole fish here with the eyeballs in it and this fish sauce, like, oh my God. But now it's like, I think another great thing that barbecue's given me is it's helped accelerate the appreciation I've had for my motherland's cuisine, right? And not only am I not embarrassed anymore, I take huge pride in it, because it's not only is it delicious, like we get to use it in barbecue and frame it in barbecue where it's accessible, and people are, oh, I wouldn't have tried it otherwise, but thanks for introducing me to kimchi or to a fish sauce caramel, or lemongrass. Like I never would have thought.
That's true. That's very true.
So and so. So that's been pretty cool to be able to. I think barbecue is such an accessible and widely loved, cuisine that if you put whatever is it that your ethnic ingredients in it, I think people will try it. So.
And that's what I really love about barbecue now is that I feel like people are bringing in their heritage or food from like when they grew up or things from their family into it. Like it just feels like this is the time. And it's almost like, I don't know if what you're doing would have even worked maybe 15 years ago or 12 years ago. I don't, or even 10 years. It just seems like like people are willing to try different things, but it's also too, like I grew up in Los Angeles, which is extremely diverse. Mm-hmm. And I had friends that are Filipino, that are Vietnamese, Japanese American. Like I have a friend his last name is Kato, and he is more American than me. He's fourth generation, and I am third generation. And people obviously they look at him and they think he's just straight Japanese. That's when he sounds like a stir fry kid dog. But it's just funny how things are. But I also too, like I didn't try Vietnamese food until I probably was 18 or 19. Like it's just something that I don't think a lot of people have been exposed to Vietnamese food. And I find that wonderful that you're giving them an opportunity to try it, because like am I pronouncing, is it pho or is it kind of like Khoi? Is it different? Like,
no, that was perfect.
No, yeah, it's actually pho.
No, don't listen to him. you had it.
You got because like when I used to live like in a suburb of Los Angeles, and it was like everything was like folking, whatever.
Yeah.
No, pho is perfect. Yeah,
But it's like I always like, because there's like every kind of like trying to do like a nuance with pho, and I'm like, it's not pho. Yeah. It's not even pho. And you guys are
like pun city, right?
Yeah, puns. That's what. Okay, I am a little slow today. Yes, the puns out. The puns were like plentiful, and there still are. And you're like, really? It's not even that. That's not even how it's pronounced. But when I first had it, like and there's so many different versions of pho that you could have. A lot of them have like tripe and things that I'm not so familiar with, but once I try it, I really like it. I guess it's just like authentic Mexican food. Like it's like they use a lot of tripe and different things. And
I mean, it's like barbecue. There's a lot of regionality to it. Right?
Oh yeah, true. Like they're using
I mean, you have like
mutton
in the Carolinas and spare ribs in Kansas City. The beef primarily in Texas. Same thing with pho. It's like the classic
it's regional, right?
Unadulterated pho is from the north, from Hanoi. Like there, it's very minimalist. Like you go to the alleyways, like where Obama and I think Bourdain had a meal. They didn't eat pho, but in Hanoi, it's very.
Forgot about that.
It's just a squeeze of lime, and you have maybe some green onions in there. There's no bean sprouts. There's no hoisin sauce. There's no sriracha. It's just the broth, noodles, chicken or beef, and then the garnish is a squeeze of lime. Right? If you go to the south, it's everything is in it. Right? Like bean sprouts and
basil and
cilantro, basil. The work, so it just depends on where you are. So.
Yeah, but that's also something too that's like it's so cool when you go to a Vietnamese restaurant and like they bring you all that stuff and you're like, holy shit, I get to rip all this stuff up and stick it in my soup. Like this is just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly the train of thought that we had too, because Vietnamese food, like you mentioned, all these herbs that they bring. Yeah. Like it's very light. It's all about flavor.
Yeah.
The difference between, stereotypically, the difference between Chinese food and Vietnamese food is a lot more soups and steaming, right? And Chinese food is a lot of stir frying and things like that. So Vietnamese food super light generally, but lots of herbs and flavors, and I think that's why it was such a natural fit for us.
And it also helps. Like it's. Like you see these people go on barbecue runs, which I have, and everyone does, but there's a lot of heavy stuff, so that's why it's like good that there's sides or that there's other things that you can kind of balance, because the balance in everything you eat is very important, because the food that you're cooking is so rich. And so now, when did you start to feel like this is something that is it when like the Houston Chronicle started paying attention? Like when did you start to think like this is something that's like a little bigger than we thought it would be?
Yeah, I think JC. Who was first? I think it was JC And then Eric Sandler from Culture Map, the beef rib nigiri dish we had. Eric Sandler was like, "Oh, I've seen a lot of renditions of, of barbecue, but this was the first." And then JC came out, and looking back at the stuff we produced, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's really embarrassing. I can't believe I actually, like supported us and people paid for this shit."
I know, it's like,
but I mean, I keep it on our Instagram just to look back, because you need to
no, it's
where
important.
you started from and see how you can get better. And we're still trying to get better, right? And you'll never, at least we won't to be complacent and feel like we perfected anything. But the first break was from, I think, Eric Sandler from Culture Map, and then that JC Reed that he wrote about us.
Did he have curry? Because you guys had curry once, or do you guys serve curry often? Is that?
Yeah, we do serve curry pretty often.
The curry is in. Is there a Vietnamese curry?
Yeah,
I guess in Japan they had like a version of curry too.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You probably had it when you were in Osaka. Like the British brought it to Japan, right? I think during World War II.
Yeah.
But or maybe before that. But Vietnam has had a population of Indian people, right? Because we were a French colony, and Pondicherry was the city or the region in India that had the French the colonization, like colony in India, right? And there was like the Portuguese and Goa, but mainly it was, British, right?
Yeah.
But in Pondicherry, when the French came over to Vietnam, there was a contingent of Indian people that came to
interesting.
So there's a community of Indian
That's
people
fascinating.
that were in Vietnam, in Saigon. So that's where the Vietnamese curry came from.
Wow. That would be, and I'm sure Simon Bazundar has done like a podcast all about curry. I should probably go back. I'm sure it has something. But it's so fascinating. And I always wondered, is it because of I'm losing my mind today. Banh mi, are those rolls French? Is it French inspired?
So the Vietnamese curry is really light.
No, but for the banh mi, it's a banh mi.
The banh mi,
I know you guys don't do that. But that's from France, right? That's exactly why the baguettes, right? I always wondered.
I was gonna say, banh mi. I mean, that's why for us, like politics, is so intertwined with food, right? And so if you don't understand that, or if you just ignore it conveniently, I think it's disingenuous. Understand where everything comes from. It comes from war, it comes from conflict, it comes from death, it comes from colonization, but there's a lot of good stuff that also comes from these sort of bad situations as well, and a lot of it revolves around food, right? Coffee, the bread that we get from banh mi, it's came from the French, but also pho, the soup itself came from China, right? The rice noodles.
Oh, interesting. That makes sense.
And Vietnamese coffee that's so famous also was a French influence as well.
Yeah,
that's why when people think, they enjoy pho, they enjoy Vietnamese coffee, but why? Why are we here in America? War, right? So that's we try to educate people too. It's like, hey, diversity. If you have an anti-immigrant view or something like that, but you also enjoy a taco, or where that comes from, right? So there's a part of what
hopefully that helps
educate people as well, or what you represent, to make people think a little bit out of their comfort zone, whether it be trying something with MSG or with fish sauce or with shrimp paste, pushing them out of the comfort zone, but through food, but also through understanding the history of where.
And then hopefully it resonates somewhere, and maybe it's especially now that there's like so much division and so many things are coming to a head. It feels like in the United States is constantly, and a lot of it has to do with immigrants, and it has to do with or people that have been brought here.
It's been going on forever, right? I mean, in the 1800s, when the Chinese people were making railroads, exact same thing happened. It just repeats on a loop, right? They worked hard to build railroads. There's a great PBS documentary about it as well, the Asian Americans, and then they saved up money to open up Chinatown in San Francisco, and then they got kicked back because they were doing too well, right? And even the pictures of people finishing the railroads in Utah when the East and the West lines met, they weren't even allowed to be in the picture, right?
That makes I could see that. I could see them doing that.
There's anti-immigrant, and then they're like, oh, now it's like pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. But don't pull them up too much, right? And so it's been going on forever and ever and ever. And I hopefully like the younger generation, what we're trying to do with food is just to put the history out there and then get people to know, if you enjoy this dish, here's where it came from. There's a lot of uncomfortable, facts.
Important and uncomfortable. Exactly. Yeah. But I think maybe because I hate to say my generation, because it's like I'm older than you guys, but it's like I think our generation is the communication so quick, and things can happen so quickly that people can be educated really quickly. And if things are happening, like their spotlights can go on things a lot harder now. Like it's different than a lot of stuff can be swept under the rug, or it was just a newspaper that you might hear news a week later after something. Now you hear about it like on Twitter, like I'll see something like within 3 seconds, and I'll say like 52 seconds ago, a bomb went somewhere. Like it's wild. So hopefully what you're doing does resonate, and I hope so, and I hope that people will leave at least thinking, and maybe explore a neighborhood, go to a restaurant that they wouldn't have gone to because of you guys. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or be open to anything.
Yeah, I mean, Chinatown in Houston was definitely affected a lot. We go there all the time, right? Growing up, going there, we still go. But when COVID, people were spreading fake news, like, oh, this grocery store has COVID, and then it just got decimated, right? But they really didn't have COVID, right? So it was like, it's little things like that. It's just I think my goal, or what I'm trying to achieve as well, is just we have a lot more in common than we think.
Yes.
A lot more than differences, right? And so through barbecue, I think for me, it's been great because it's the ability, it's tangible. You can see it. You can see different, like if you look at our customers.
I'm sure it's a mix, right?
Like it's an awesome mix of people, right? And I'm sure there's all different, political and leanings as well.
I'm sure.
Forget about it a little bit and enjoy a meal. And then also when you see people talk in line and have the food, hopefully that they come to the realization that we're all human beings and that we have a lot more in common than we think, right? Maybe it takes a brisket or a bowl of to come to that realization.
Yeah, it's interesting that something so simple and so can be so powerful, but it can be. It's not simple as in it takes you guys a long time. Like when you guys are doing your pho, how long does it take to make that broth? I'm trying to think. It's a long time, right?
It's like 5-6 hours.
Yeah, a lot of love.
That's nothing compared to smoking stuff, right?
yeah, that's right. That's true.
But it's so complimentary. Like when you're smoking stuff on the offset for 24 hours, making making stock is actually a really nice thing to do, because you can do both at the same time.
Yeah, it's good to have your mind. Yeah, get your mind on a number of different things in your multitask. It feels good. It's interesting. It makes things more interesting. Now, have you guys you've had some collabs, right, already, or is this going to be your first one that you're doing? Because didn't you do something with Bodacious?
Yeah. Brian's
or no longer Bodacious. It's
Sunbird. Bodacious. Yeah, exactly. Sunbird. Shout out.
Shout out Sunbird. Yeah.
Brian being one of my best friends, just outside.
Such an awesome dude. Yeah.
But he came down. Was it a couple of years, like 2019?
Was it? Is it that long ago?
It was January 2020. The COVID times.
Yeah.
Warped. But he came down and did a collaboration with us, which is awesome. Theo got to try his food in Longview. I think we went in December or something, 2020.
Oh, before he
kind of left. But yeah, we love collaborating with people. And Danny, his is coming up.
Is it you guys and Danny at Heritage, or is there someone else too? Or I thought I had heard there might be someone else. No, or is it just other people coming out just to hang out?
Yeah, we're I think it's one of those big things where it's just gonna be a party, a celebration, and I think some other people are coming along. I think Mark at Convenience West.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah, Convenience West.
He was like, I'm gonna come and just be a part of it and just experience it. And then now I think we've convinced him to do a dish as well.
Nice.
A part of the celebration. So it's just going to be, West Coast that does Texas style barbecue, and you have a couple, me, Theo, Mark, kind of just roll over from Texas and do our thing and kind of share the love and cook some dishes that maybe people in SoCal can't make it to Texas, can't make it to Houston, can at least try some of the food that we're serving here.
What are the dates? Or date? Is that one date?
Yeah, it's going to be on Sunday, June 13th.
Sunday, June 13th. Okay.
In San Juan Capistrano.
Yeah. I think Joe from a Minister of Smoke, I think he said he's coming out.
Is he? Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I think so. I think, he's like, he's the one that mentioned, I didn't even know that you guys were doing it. He's like, I might be in your area. There's a Khoi thing. I'm like,
oh, what? Yeah, I don't think I've ever talked to him, actually. He was at Brett's 2-year anniversary in Rockdale last year. He took a picture of us, but I didn't get to talk to him. So he's a really nice guy, and I think he's working on some secret project. He mentioned it kind of like when I interviewed him, like, that's going to be funny. You guys excited to come out to? Have you been out to LA? Well, it's not LA, it's Orange County, but have you been out to Orange County?
Yeah, like growing up, I think we would go to church camps out there. I haven't been back since like I was in high school.
Okay,
I'm stoked.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
you guys staying in?
We have family in Chino Hills.
Oh, that's close. Okay.
Yeah, so we would go like once every summer. So we're pretty familiar with LA. We have a lot of friends out there as well. But yeah, we would always go to Bolsa Avenue. I think that was like where all the Vietnamese stuff was, right? Garden Grove
is such.
Yeah. So the food was amazing, and we're gonna do some barbecue, but we can't go to eat some. we definitely want to eat like Korean food and Japanese food and all the stuff out in LA.
But that'll be good. That'll be fun to hang out. And Danny's a great guy, and he's creative. And is there a future, like, do you guys want to do a brick and mortar, or do you want to keep doing pop-ups, or do more pop-ups a week, or what's kind of the plans?
Yeah, I mean, I think we love food, and I think we love our day jobs right now as well. I mean, I do. I don't know about Theo. Yeah, Theo,
you. They're probably not watching. They're not going to watch this. I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the future is brick and mortar at some point.
Yeah,
when the time's right, because we have so much. I just have all these ideas, and you can only do so much out of the house and your smoker, and then to do it day to day. I think it's definitely going to be the idea, because we have so much to say. We want to represent. We want to execute on a wider scale. So that's probably the plan. Popping up more, we do it once or twice a month, and that's enough.
But it'd be like 2022 at the earliest, right?
We'll see when the time is right.
Cool. So so people should just follow you on Instagram, and you'll let them know.
Absolutely, yeah. Instagram is how we communicate with most people, most of our customers and community.
Yeah.
Communities. So,
yeah. You guys, your MySpace page isn't visited much.
Now you're really showing your age, man.
Yeah, if I had one, I don't think I never had a MySpace.
Yeah. That was only use Snapchat and TikTok.
Yeah. So I have a Snapchat, but I never use it, and TikTok, I don't have time. There's a lot of like it's. Like you could probably learn a lot, and I'm sure like you could do, but it's like I'm not really just to like be a wacky entertainer. I don't like I want to,
Yeah.
I'd rather. Yeah.
I don't even have a Twitter. Theo has a Twitter.
You don't have Twitter?
Twitter is awesome, dude.
It is. It's mayhem. It's like crazy. It's
chaos. Yes.
It's chaos. Yeah. Like if you really want to like melt your brain, you should get. But also too, like Twitter, you can find like if there's an earthquake here, because I'll type in earthquake, and all of a sudden, like.
No, it's really good. Like I use it. Like I mean, it's not the best news resource, but I see headlines like what's going on in the world. People are talking about it. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm following like some people from like the Palestinian side and the Israeli side, just because it's interesting to see their takes, and so like you wouldn't get that on Instagram necessarily because it's so fast and
Right.
Yeah, come on, Don. Good. Come on.
One time.
I can't believe I'm actually promoting Twitter on like that's like the saddest moment.
Remember to follow Kevin's barbecue joints.
But I don't tweet it. I do a lot of retweeting. It's so nice to meet you guys, and I can't wait to like hopefully I'll see you guys when you're out here. But if circumstances aren't that way, then I'll meet you guys when I'm gonna hopefully move to Texas sometime this year or next year, and
Cool.
but I'll be closer. At least
Yeah.
in the
We'd
timeline.
love to meet you in person, whether it's in California or
Yeah,
here.
try your food and talk.
And it's in San Juan Capistrano or something. So I still need to talk to Danny. I don't know what we're gonna do. Like, is he gonna serve us regular menu, and then are we gonna do our dishes?
Yeah.
And then Mark from Canadian West is gonna. It's like I have no idea yet. So I'm sure we'll sort it all out. And
Yeah, it's coming
yeah,
up, so you should
great,
probably
yeah.
start. You should probably check it.
Yeah.
Well, cool, guys. Well, have a great evening, a great time. Have a great evening, and take it easy, guys. I'll talk to you soon. All right, bye.
Bye.
Okay, so that was the end of the Theo and Don portion of the interview. Now I catch back up with Don, and he goes over their entire menu. Enjoy. I realized that I had asked you about the menu. We talked about like concepts and ideas and how everything, but we never really discussed what people can expect. And I want people to know if they come visit you, what they can expect almost every single time, and then kind of how, what gets thrown in the mix.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, our menu consists of, we like to cook what we like to eat generally, right? I mean, so we treat it like almost like a traditional Texas barbecue joint where you can buy meats by the pound, right? Brisket, beef ribs, pork ribs, sauce. You can buy a la carte, like just like normal barbecue joint, right? But we like to, incorporate Asian flavors, Southeast Asian flavors, Chinese, Japanese flavors, Vietnamese dishes that I grew up and Theo grew up eating, right? And so, for example, so we'll have brisket pho. That's a really popular dish of ours. Using my mom's pho recipe, we'll do balalot sausages, which is like a traditional, it's like a 7-course beef, Vietnamese 7-course beef dish that involves like these lao lok leaves, are almost like beetle leaves. The traditional way, the kind of minced beef is wrapped with these leaves, and then you grill it over an open flame, right?
Okay.
So we kind of grill those leaves in the firebox, and then we kind of mix like traditional Western style sausage out of it. So it has the same flavor components with fish sauce, beetle leaf, honey, but it's in a sausage form. So it's been a lot of fun. And then we'll do like curries. I love curries, whether it's Indian or Thai, Vietnamese. So we do like a Panang curry dish that is quite popular as well. So we just like to incorporate different flavor profiles.
So the Central Texas menu is always there, and then those other things like the pho. Is the pho always on the menu?
It's probably on the menu 50% of the time.
50% of the time.
So
what about that sausage too? Is that?
That sausage we make a lot, just because I love making sausage, right? Like I just super passionate about it. It's one way to kind of cut down waste, right? With all the trimmings, there's so much trimmings, but also it's such a great canvas for creativity, right? Because once you kind of nail down the process, the cold smoke and all that stuff to get that snap, you can make anything you want, right? People make hot sausages, hot links down here that is popular. You can do Italian sausage. So I think there's so many sausages, but there's so many different dishes in Asian cuisine that involve, sausage that haven't been, or the flavor profiles that haven't been explored.
It definitely gives you a chance to be extremely creative.
Yeah, you can put lemongrass in there and like whatever you want, right? It's like,
the sausage that you described, that one, like, because I was looking at the website. Is it more so when you arrive, you'll see what the specials are, or what the additional items are?
We try to tell our followers, so we communicate strictly through Instagram.
Okay.
More or less. So we'll post at the beginning of the month saying, here's where we'll be, and here are the specials that we're thinking of. And then
that's smart. Okay, that's good. So if you're not following on Instagram, you should, because that's the best way to get up-to-date information.
That's right. Yeah. And then we'll open the website for pre-orders like a week before the pop-up date, and then all the specials will be announced, and then we'll have a limited amount, and then we'll do like 50 forwards or something, and then it sells out, it'll just pop up. But at the beginning of the month will be the dates, and then closer to the dates we'll pick specials, because it's kind of like a fly-by-wire. So
it makes it more exciting too. It's more interesting, I think, if you don't kind of know what's coming up. It's exciting.
A lot of times I don't know what we're gonna do.
That's fun for you too.
Exactly.
So once you've hit that limit, it drops off the pre-order, right? Okay. All right.
So we'll make some extra. It's just for walk up people.
Okay.
As well, but that whole pre-order thing's been working out
Yeah.
pretty well. So
so you have on June 6th, you have a pop-up. What if, just in case this comes out or someone watches this after June 6th, like on the 8th or 9th, when do you think your next pop-up will be?
Our next event is the 6th for the whole hog event, and then on the 13th of June, we'll be having an event in LA with our good friends Danny and his team at Heritage Barbecue. Super excited for that.
I'm very excited about that.
And then after that, we come back to Houston the weekend after that. The 20th, we'll have another pop-up.
Okay.
At Bayless and Brewery. So it's back to back to back.
So if you're watching this and you're in Los Angeles or Orange County or San Diego or somewhere, you can come and see you on the 13th at Heritage in San Juan Capistrano. And I think Convenience West is on board too.
Yeah. Mark, really great friend of mine. He's coming out.
Great guy. Such a cool guy.
So such a nice dude. And I love what they're doing out there in Marfa, Texas. And he's going to be making a couple dishes as well.
That's fun.
So we've been talking forever about a collaboration, us going to Marfa, or like he and his team coming out here. But it's funny that
I know, it's so funny how
COVID, it kind of threw out all the plans, and now we're both going to LA.
It's so bizarre. I know what the odds of that are so bizarre, but that's that kind of seems like everything's so weird. It kind of makes sense that would be.
I mean, that's the spirit of barbecue, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
The community is so. It's actually quite small, and everybody's so supportive, and it's a great network to have because everybody communicates and kind of follows each other and kind of see what each other are doing, and it's a great community to be a part of.
And it's fun. It's exciting to see what others are doing, and it seems like everyone's really pushing the boundaries for creativity, and that's what's really unique. And I'm trying my best to highlight that as much as possible on the blog, because there's so many different sides and sausage and dessert. There's so many unique things that didn't exist, or they existed, but they're it's gone way off the rails in the best way possible. Now with merchandise, is that something people can DM you for a quote if they're outside of Texas, if they can't pick it up? Or is that too much?
Merch is available on our website, and I think shipping's free over $50 or something.
Is it okay? Oh, cool. Okay, I didn't. I saw that. I was gonna start clicking on it just for fun.
Yeah, it's all set up through Square, and they automate all the.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Shipping costs and stuff. So
the merch is great. It was by
you can just buy it and we'll ship it out to you. And Brady's coming out to LA as well. So
he'll be out here too. I forgot about that.
Shout out to Brady from Brisket Country.
Yeah,
he's such a creative mind, and he does a lot of all of our designs for us.
Yeah, that stuff.
A lot of the barbecue community as well. So it'll be great. I think Heritage is one of his clients as well. So Moose. We're looking forward to.
It's gonna be mayhem on the 13th. There's gonna be a lot of people there.
It'll be great. I know Moose is opening. I think soft opening soon or something that week.
It's very soon. I think it's like So Moose is somebody also to visit, but it's I don't think they're not going to be full on board until like for a couple of weeks. But that's such a. I'm glad. I'm hoping I get a chance to come visit you then. If not, Houston, I'll see you out there. Is there anything else we missed food wise that people should know?
No, I think that's
it, right? Cool. Well, thank you, and thank you so much.